What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of the Real Housewives of Dubai Season 1 Reunion Part 1. So, right before the reunion got underway, Ayan was sitting on the couch next to Andy, and Caroline Stanberry was sitting across from her on the other side of Andy. And it was just the two, there's just the three of them on stage because they were waiting for the other ladies to get ready. So the official recording of the reunion had not started. And Andy gets a random call from Naomi Campbell. And she's, praising Ayan and how wonderful she was on the show. And Andy tells Naomi, we're just about to start the reunion. And Naomi wants Ayan to walk for one of her shows that's going to be coming up. And so, Ayan, of course, agrees. And I was just like, wow, how random is that? Like, was this planned? Did Naomi know that they're about to start filming? It was just like really, really random that, Naomi Campbell calls Andy Cohen right before he starts. It was just so random. Anyways, so Ayan is going to be walking for Naomi Campbell in one of her fashion shows. So now let's officially get started with the reunion. So all the ladies come out. By far, Chanel Ayan took the cake when it came to the fashion. I don't really pay too much attention to the fashion. I don't really care about the fashion, but if I had to say something, Chanel Ayan took the damn cake. She looked fabulous. She looked so, I don't even know what the word is. I don't even think there's a word to even describe how fabulous I thought she looked. Her dress was completely over the top, so it was perfect for the reunion. It was perfect for Chanel. Her makeup was beautiful. Her hair, the curly cues on her, like around her face, framing her face with a little the bejeweled curly cues, I thought was adorable. Everything about her look to me was A1 perfect. I loved it from head to toe. From head to toe. Now, the one who came a far second was Lisa. I thought Lisa, she looked okay. She came for a reunion. She was bedazzled. She was befeathered. So she came for a reunion. Sarah. Sarah, I'm not understanding. Okay, Sarah presents herself as a very modern Emirati. I think that's what they call themselves. She presents herself as a very modern Emirati. Like she's trying to break barriers. She's trying to make a stand that what women of her culture and women of her religion, can do the things that she's doing. They can be single mothers. They can be business women, career women. They can be independent, make choices for themselves. But then when it comes to her attire, it's very, very traditional. The whole entire season, her clothes have been extremely traditional. She was just like one step away from wearing a Habib, or is it a hijab? So the whole entire time that she was on the show, it was like she was talking and living one way, but looking completely like another way. And once again on the reunion, she was very conservative with her attire. She was covered up from head to toe. The sleeves went all the way down to her wrist. She was very, very conservative. Moving on across the way to Caroline Stanberry. Caroline Stanberry, understated. Like, I don't know. I thought that at the reunion was when the women can really show out. But of course, there's been a lot of misses throughout the years. But I thought that the reunion look was like you really pushed the envelope when it came to that reunion look. Caroline Stanberry, very understated. I mean, she could have been a member of production for all I care for the way that she looked. Very understated. Next to her was Caroline Brooks. Ridiculous. Caroline Brooks, her outfit was ridiculous. She looked like a Disney princess. She looked like, I don't know, like someone said she looked like one of the princesses from Frozen with her tiara and the way that her dress was structured. It was just, I didn't like her dress at all. You could see her Spanx underneath. I did not like her dress. She said that her dress was made in Nigeria and it took many, many, many months to make. I couldn't tell. I could not tell. It looked like some costume shop made it. I didn't care for her look at all. And then last but not least, we had Nina. I don't even remember what she wore. I really don't remember. what she wore. But moving on. So they talk about the culture in Dubai. Andy Cohen was under the impression that same-sex couples cannot show any type of affection in public. The ladies tell him no, no one can show any public display of affection in Dubai. Whether you're same-sex or you're opposite sex, it doesn't matter. You cannot show any PDA in Dubai in public. Lisa and Brooks claim the question was asked, how does Dubai compare to the United States? And because Lisa and Brooks lived in the United States, they said they were the best to give this answer. They said that life is a lot safer in Dubai. They talked about, they don't have to worry about police brutality. They don't have to worry about their children, their young black male children being shot or, being manhandled by the police. They don't have to worry about that in Dubai. So they feel a lot safer in Dubai as black women. You have to have a license to buy alcohol. Just a regular schmegler Joe Schmo has to have a license to be able to buy alcohol in Dubai. It's really easy to get the license. I guess everybody has one. The restriction on drinking is not the way that we think of it as. So the only restrictions is that you have to have a license to buy the alcohol. And you can only buy alcohol in certain places, which I'm thinking to myself, it's not that different from the United States. You don't have to have a license, but you definitely have to be of age and show your ID or your license. But you don't have to have a license to buy alcohol. They also talked about how because of the different cultures in Dubai, the reason why people feel like there's like this really strict that the government or the society is like really, really strict is because there's so many different cultures in Dubai that they don't want to offend anybody. And so there's like a whole bunch of rules for a whole bunch of stuff because they want everyone to feel comfortable. So then it finally gets into the meat and potatoes of it all. And they start off with Caroline Stanberry. So Caroline and Sergio have already one embryo and they plan on having a second embryo. She plans to carry her own children when it comes time for that. Right now, they're busy moving or purchasing a home or something. They're in transition with their residents. So until they're completely settled in, they won't even talk about having babies. But when the time comes, she says she's going to carry her own children. And this, I'm thinking most likely not because she wants to, because I think it's like a health risk for her to carry her own babies because of what she experienced in her previous pregnancies. But because I think it's just easier for her to carry her own children. Otherwise, they would have to go outside of the UAE for her to have a surrogate, because I don't think surrogacy is allowed in Dubai. So we talk about the prenuptial agreement. She says definitely her and Sergio signed a prenuptial agreement. Without a doubt, that was done. She says that Sergio came into the marriage with quite a bit of money from his days as a soccer player. And this is where Chanel piped in and said he never played for Real Madrid. And Stanberry and Brooks, they're like, yes, he did. Of course he played for Real Madrid. And Chanel was like, no, he didn't. He never played for them. Well, the thing is that he was signed to Real Madrid, but he was a bench warmer. He got like no play time or very little play time on the field. And so because he wasn't on the field, Chanel automatically just assumed that, he never was even on the team. Well, he was definitely on the team. He had a contract, but he was just a bench warmer. And I'm just like, wow, Caroline Stanberry. Like, what do you see in Sergio? What was it about Sergio that just had Caroline Stanberry hooked? He doesn't have a lot of money. He's a little bit on the immature side. Was it just the looks? Was it just the physicality of it all? Let us know, Caroline, what's going on with that. So after that, they talk about Sergio's tweets. So evidently back in 2016, a tweet was posted on his Twitter account, and it had the N word in it. And when they showed it on TV, because they had just got done talking about the soccer, I thought that this tweet was related to his soccer team that he had played for, or that he was contracted with, because it said something like the bros are up in here or something to that effect, but it didn't use the word bros, it used the N word. So it says something like, the bros are up in here, or the bros are in this, or something like that. So I was like, oh, was he referring to the black soccer players on his team? I didn't understand what the hell was going on because they just transitioned from the whole soccer conversation. So I don't know what this tweet was about, what it was in relation to, what kind of context it was in. It just made no sense. It was just this random sentence It looked like it could have been part of a whole nother conversation. I have no idea. It just was like really random. It kind of didn't seem like something that Sergio would say. Not that he wouldn't use the N word, but like the phrasing of the whole sentence just seemed like that's not how Sergio talks. That are up in here. It just doesn't seem like the Sergio would talk like that. But anyways, Caroline Brooks said that she had a conversation with Sergio, and Sergio said he didn't even know what that word was. He hadn't even heard of that word, that particular N word. He never heard of it. I find that kind of hard to believe, but he says he didn't even know. And Sarah said that she had her tech team try to figure out, where this tweet came from, and they concluded that it wasn't even part of Sergio's account. The thing was random. It didn't make any sense to me. It didn't seem like Sergio would talk like that. So let's not spend too much time on this. But Brooke said that Sergio was very apologetic about it, which makes me wonder, why would you be apologetic about something that you didn't even post, that you claim had nothing to do with you, and you said that you don't even know what that word is? So I'm like, what the hell's going on there? But it just wasn't enough for me to really make a decent conclusion about, like, Sergio is racist. He's going around using the N word. The phrasing of it doesn't seem like the way Sergio would talk. Now, if it would have been something else, like, I don't want to play with black players. If that was a tweet that came out like that, then, we'd have a conversation. But it just didn't seem like something Sergio would say. Moving on from that, Caroline talks about her influencer status. So I think she was donated or gifted a whole bunch of stuff for her home. And Lisa questioned, like, why would you be given so much stuff when you don't have that many followers on your social media? And Caroline said that because, if you're a big influencer, it would make sense that you would have a whole lot of stuff donated to you for these companies to promote themselves on your social media because you have a huge following. So Lisa questioned her being donated all of these gifts. And Caroline Stanberry said that, honey, it doesn't matter. It's not about the quantity of my followers, it's the quality of my followers. And I have a lot of really big, important people that follow me. So I don't even know what the hell they were talking about. Was she gifted furniture? Did they? I don't even know what they were talking about. But whatever. So they asked her, well, what does Sergio do for a living since he no longer plays soccer? And she says that he's a Bitcoin trader. Okay. Was talking about how Caroline Stanberry and Sergio, when they post their lovey-dovey PDA photos on social media, Ayan was, doubting that they're really like that in real life. They're just putting up a front that they're all lovey-dovey and that they're affectionate, that they're really in love with each other. They're just putting up a big front. And Sarah steps in and says, no, they really are like that. And Chanel was like, well, how would you know? You don't even... how would you know? And so Sarah said, well, I'm at her house all the time. And then Chanel said, how could you be at her house? You live like so many hours away from her. And then Sarah had to say, no, I've moved and I'm like 8 minutes away from her and I'm always at her house. And they are as affectionate as they seem on social media. I think they are. I think they are. I mean, I think they are. I think that I don't see why they wouldn't be. So Ayan was trying to make it seem like, I don't know if she was questioning Sergio's his sexuality or what she was doing, but she was talking about, or maybe his sexual immaturity. I don't know, but she was trying to say that he's never even seen the certain anatomy of a woman. He doesn't even know what it looks like. He doesn't never even seen one. He doesn't even know how babies are made. So the fact that he's that affectionate with his wife, I find that very hard to believe. So on Twitter, Sergio questioned the validity of Lisa's business, Lisa Milan. And Lisa said that no one funded her business. Of course, she talks about the numbers again of how much money her business has made. And I'm thinking to myself, Sergio, evidently, Stanberry's behind all of Sergio's tweets. Because why would Sergio even care? It doesn't make any sense why Sergio would even care about how Lisa Milan's business is doing. Why is Sergio questioning that? It seems like it's really Stanberry that's questioning that. It doesn't make any sense for Sergio to be concerned about that. And so, she has to defend her business and said that, they made she made seven figures in American dollars. Her business is doing well, so on and so forth. So then when it comes to Brooks, they talk about her salon and her exes. She says that her salon is going to be done. It's going to be opening up this fall, and she's already searching for a place for her second salon. They talk about her tumultuous marriage. She says that her marriage was very, very toxic. It was an extremely abusive marriage that she barely escaped with her life. She says that because her ex-husband, when they met up and he publicly apologized to her on camera, she feels like that he's really making a change for the better. He's taking his, his change very seriously, and now they're in a much better place. Brooks and Sarah are also in a much better place. They talk about the whole situation at dinner when Sarah questioned Brooks' parenting, and Brooks had a complete meltdown, and she just went really hard on everybody at the table. And Sarah says that, when she looked back on it, she could see why Brooks had gotten that upset. So she kind of saw the error in her ways of questioning another woman about, or another mother about her parenting style. So the question was asked, now, if the tables were turned and she had questioned you about your parenting, would you have reacted the same way? And Sarah says, no, I would not have reacted the same way. She says, I would not have been mad about it at all. But she does understand why Brooks had gotten upset. So then they talk about Ayan and Sarah. So they had a misunderstanding about the kind thing, because this is when, I forgot why they had gotten together, but Ayan and Sarah had gotten together, and this is when Ayan was talking about how Sarah is very preachy. She's very critical of other people. She's very judgmental of other people. And she had written on Ayan's wrist, she had written the word kind. And she made a remark. I forgot what the remark was, but I think Ayan wasn't reacting so much to her writing kind. I think she was reacting to what Sarah had said when she wrote the word kind on her. And Sarah had said something like, she had said something like, you should try more of this, try to be kind more, or something like that. I think it was more so of what she said that Ayan didn't really care for, and not that she wrote the word kind. And so it was basically, they came to the conclusion there was a big misunderstanding. Sarah said she wrote that on Ayan's wrist because she says Ayan was kind. That's why she wrote it, not that she needed to be kind. And so Andy had to try to break it down to Ayan, and I guess they finally understood. And they were like, you know what, okay, was there just a misunderstanding? But I really don't think that Ayan was reacting to the writing on the wrist. I think she was reacting to what Sarah had said afterward, but I can't remember what it was. So I probably have no point. So then they talk about Ayan and Brooks. They talked about what they admired about each other, and then they talked about how, their relationship is very, like a sisterly relationship. They'll fight hard, but then they love even harder. So they fight, and then they go out to dinner, and they fight again, they go out to dinner. So it's like an endless cycle with them, but at the end of the day, they love each other, they appreciate one another, and it's just like a regular sister type of relationship. You will always, always love them. You'll have the worst fights in the world, but you will always love them, and they will always have a special place in your heart. Then we move on to Lisa Milan. Stanberry went on Twitter to say that, they talked about the whole pool thing. So okay, so Lisa claims that the reason why she has those huge ice blocks put in her pool is just for fun. It's just for the kids to have fun with. It's not like her pool is, some dilapidated version of a pool, or some cheap version of a pool, or like some, poor man's pool. She says, my pool comes with heating and cooling. It's standard for all pools to have a heating and cooling system. So it's not like my pool does not have a cooling system. I put the ice in my pool just for fun, just for the hell of it. Because Stanberry had gone on Twitter and said that her pool comes with a heater and a cooler, so there's no need to put ice in it. And I'm thinking, how petty can you possibly be? How petty can you be to get on Twitter and remark on someone? And it was probably in real time as she was watching the episode. She got on Twitter and she made that comment, this at the same time that we were watching it. But it's still petty. Like, why are you talking about her pool? Who cares? Who cares why she puts ice blocks in her pool? It's like any little thing. Stanbury really has it in for Chanel and Lisa Milan. And I don't really understand why. I don't know if does Sergio find them attractive? Does Sergio comment that they were pretty women and that's why she has an issue? Like, I don't understand why Stanbury really cannot stand Lisa and Ayan. I mean, she cannot stand Ayan to the point of not even inviting her to her hen party. Was it her hen party or engagement party? Who cares? Didn't even invite her to her party. That's how much she can stand Ayan. And then you're constantly picking at Lisa Milan. Anyways, moving on. So Stanbury said that she had Googled maternity wear and Lisa business is not listed at all. It doesn't come up as listed. So she kind of doubts how well her business is doing. And then she talks about how she went to her website, and I don't know what program she used, but she used some kind of program where she could see that it doesn't have a lot of foot traffic on her maternity wear website. And of course, Lisa did not at all. She says that, she's making money hand over fist. Her business is doing extremely well, but Stanbury, seriously doubts it. And then Stanbury accused Lisa of stealing designs from her friend. So Stanbury has a friend who's a designer, and evidently this friend came to Stanbury and told her that Lisa Milan is stealing some of her designs. And so Lisa was like, who the hell is your friend? And what are their designs? And Lisa says that 90% of her designs are completely hers, and 10% are she used outside creatives for the other 10%. And so I was like, damn. Stanbury is coming hard for Lisa. She's accusing her of stealing other people's work. That's crazy. You better back it up, Stanbury. You better back it up. If you're saying that your friend is going around talking about how Lisa is stealing designs from her, that can affect her business very, very negatively. You need to back it up, because I wouldn't be surprised if Lisa's going to consult with an attorney about, the being defamed. You're accusing me of being a thief, of stealing someone else's ideas, and how's it going to look on my business? So the question was asked, is your friend going to sue if your friend feels like Lisa's stealing, her ideas from her or her designs from her? And I don't remember what the question was. And that's when Stanbury brings out the book of lies. And on the cover it said Lisa's Book of Lies. And I cannot wait to see what is in that damn book. So I'm surprised about Sarah and Chanel going at it, because the last time that we saw them, Sarah had encouraged Chanel to go to hypnotherapy, and she was with her when she went to her first session, and it looked like she was very, very much in support of Chanel, and it looked like Chanel was leaning on Sarah quite a bit for support. So now at the reunion, they're going at it. And it's just like, why are they going at it like that? And then for Sarah to go so hard for Stanbury. Now, of course, there was never any issue between Sarah and Stanbury during the season, but for her to go so hard for Stanbury in defense of Stanbury, whenever Chanel was accusing her of whatever, Sarah drew the line and she was like completely on Stanbury's side. So I found that very, very interesting. Like, I wonder what happened between Chanel and Sarah. Brooks, to me, I felt like was a little bit, she was very open about her drinking issue. She was like very open about it. She's like, yeah, I love to drink. She was making a whole bunch of jokes about her drinking. But when she drinks, she gets really mean. She gets really, really mean. She's a mean drunk. So I think she needs to slow that down. Her outfit was horrific. I didn't like her outfit at all. It looked really, really cheap. It looks so cheap. It seems like Chanel and, of course, Lisa, they're still going strong. And Stanbury, and I think Stanbury and what's her name? Nina, I think their friendship is built out of hate towards Lisa and Chanel. I think that's why they're really good friends. I don't think it's a genuine friendship. Anyways, that's all I have to say for my little review of the Real Housewives of Dubai. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, do not forget to rate the video. And if you like this content, please subscribe, and I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.